Well, I'd like to ask you this because obviously I build, everybody here has built or been a part of builds you've done.
I'm learning.
Yeah, you're coming along.
I'm coming along.
Since us three are mainly fitters right now and you're doing all the club work, can you explain why it's important to have a properly built golf club? Not just what was on paper that they were fit for, but from start to finish, if we fit you for a half-inch over, there's a lot of difference in the industry right now a half-inch is.
Yeah, that's actually been a big, I won't say fight, but a nice discussion we kind of had with certain manufacturers of, the fitter works so hard in the bay to dial in, and they're showing this guy with confidence this is winning. And then if I go through and don't build to the proper spec, I've done the fitter a disservice because it's not going to go out and play right. If you ask for, what has been always said in the men's standard is a 37-inch 7-iron. Some companies might say it's 37.25. I know one company that it's going to show up at 37.5. That's going to affect lie angle. That's going to affect swing weight. You custom fit somebody and then hand them something random.
Right.
So, and that'll be, if it falls apart, it'll knock my reputation, at the end of the day.
Right.
If it doesn't perform well on course, I've done y'all a disservice because that's greatly affecting y'all's reputation.
And that's why that word standard is so hard, because with one manufacturer, if you hit a standard 7-iron at 37,
Right.
the next one it's 37.5, it's going to go a little further, but Caleb and Nikki can hit on this. It also changes swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. I'd say every company's standard is a little bit different. It's their own standard.
And that's my knock really on my trade right now is a lot of the quote unquote master techs or something like that. They're not doing their homework anymore. They're going off of age old standards, not knowing or not even checking how many club techs out there have checked your fitting walls behind your fitters.
Right.
Do you know what are they fitting with the supposed standard for that manufacturer? That matters. Do you swing golf clubs anymore? That's a big thing. It's like I put a lot of time in my game, but I can read specs all day, but I like to go through with the team and all my guys in my shop do it. If we're building with a shaft we've never built before, we go through and swing it. So then I can have educated discussions with my clientele and the fitters.
Yeah, I think I was going to say for the person that doesn't know, a lot of times you go into a store, whether you got fit or not, you just get basic standard specs. So a standard specs from majority of the manufacturers, it's going to be 37 inches long at the end of the grip, standard lie angle, standard loft. And then from there, you could get, and then you're just like, this club just feels so light.
Right.
So light. Explain what swing weight does to not only the golf club, but the golfer.
And say, what is swing weight?
And what
first of all, we have kind of hit on this a little bit.
Yeah, swing weight. I mean, to put it very simply, is because you have the curb weight of the entire package. You can say I have a 105 gram shaft, I have a 58 gram grip, piece of tape, 2 grams, BB&F co-ferrule, 2.5 grams. Then you got your head. That's the physical curb weight of a club. Swing weight is, I always kind of put it to like the hammer. How much you feel that head in the hammer, how heavy it is. That's the physical weight. If I held it out, that club head will weigh.
It's the balance point.
The balance point, like how far down the shaft you're really going to feel the balance point, and that dramatically affects the player. I mean, for me, it's timing. Like if the balance point is too up near my hands, like it disappears in the top of the swing, and then I'm almost guessing until I get to the ball and feel it again, and that makes striking the ball consistently a very hard thing.
Yeah.
Do we typically see from manufacturers too heavy swing weights or too light?
I'd say the industry right now is going light for swing speed. They're thinking magic bullet in the bay. Like we get up that swing speed. They're not worrying about 1D, which is dispersion. They're worried about the other D, which is distance.
Absolutely.
And that's how you can get the really almost a dishonest fitter can get an easy pay. You're going to buy that club. I just beat your club by 20 yards, but it was one swing. Let's look at the overall bucket it landed in, which most graphite's usually been a C8D0, depending on the frequency setup. And then traditionally, you were seeing your steel setups for harder swingers at like a D2. I think everyone in the industry is finding higher swing speeds need heavier than that. I think most of the clubs on the floor, if you're doing a stock option, are just too light for most players.
And to piggyback for us as fitters, I mean, and the biggest thing, it doesn't matter what your golf swing looks, feels like. The fitter should fit the golf club to your swing as well.
Yes.
We don't want to change your swing to make a golf club work. So if you come in the fitting bay and you have a really aggressive move at the top of the swing and transition, we're going to be like, oh gosh, if he or she has too light of a swing weight, you're going to have
time that up.
You're never going to time that up.
Yeah.
You may smack one, right? And now with lofts being jacked so far down, if you center contact on some of these new irons, that ball's going to go.
But then is the spin too low? Is it playable?
Yeah.
Well, that's the flip
Distance
side
dispersion.
that we see from other facilities where customers have went and got fit elsewhere. Is we see some of these swing weights, and with my background, they're heavier swing weights being suggested than what PGA Tour, LPGA players play.
Yes.
And, that's going to affect, right back into it, that's going to affect the swing. That's going to affect tempo, spin rate, launch angle.
Why can't you get the ball off the ground?
But on TrackMan or GC Quad or, Flight Scope outside, a really heavy golf club with that spin loft goes a long way.
Yeah.
But then you get to 4, 5, and 6 iron, and now you've got 3 clubs going the same distance.
But not to mention the biggest thing on my side of it, because I've had to buy specialized drill bits for this purpose to rebuild some of these clubs. How are we doing the weight? When you're trying to say someone needs like a D8.
What's up?
All right, 5 degrees flat D8. I got you. Yeah. But you're loading the last 12 to 14 inches of a shaft with tungsten epoxy. We've gone too far. We put say let's spend $105 on a shaft, like a custom amazing shaft. Let's pay extra to pure it from some manufacturers, and then we completely lock out any of the tech in the bottom, like how it was designed.
Yeah, we're defeating the purpose of the shaft.
We're defeating the purpose of the shaft. And I've had players come in, it's like, hey, I hit this before, and I went and got one, and I see who it was built by, and they're like, it feels so different. It feels horrible. Can you fix it? I go through and I drill out the entire portion. We re-weighted it appropriately, and now the shaft can move. They come back to me, it's like, oh my gosh, it's exactly like I wanted to feel. It's so much better. That's we can't cheat as techs. We have to respect what we're working with and be okay with telling our fitters sometimes is like the weight you're talking about is not achievable without it affecting the aesthetics of the outside.
And the performance of the shaft.
And the performance. I'm about performance first. I love making beautiful works of art. But if it's not going to go out and score for you, you can hang on a wall and look at it, but that's not the builds I want to do.